Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be reviewing Apocalypse Now for its 45th anniversary. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
What so?
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Turbo back. Turbo.
Hello.
Doing, my man?
How are you, fella?
Doing
My
good.
man.
How we doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing well.
Good,
Doing
good.
well.
I'm really excited for this episode.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, so today we'll be reviewing Apocalypse Now, 45 years old this month, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Obviously, if you don't know who he is, you're probably
If
not
you
a
don't know
movie
who
fan.
he is, yeah, you're get out from under a rock, man. I mean, this
But,
guy is literally the cream of the crop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's talked about when you're talking about top 5 greatest directors of all time.
Absolutely.
In just about everybody's conversation.
Absolutely.
Stars Martin Sheen in the lead role. And then, you got Marlon Brando, who is in another major film from Coppola.
Yeah.
So kind of crossing over there.
Yep.
Robert Duvall also in
Robert
this
Duvall's
one.
excellent. He's plays
crossing-
Kilgore.
Yep.
He's awesome. And
Provides probably my favorite quote in the movie. A lot of people's favorite quote.
there's a few that he has that are
Yeah.
just excellent, man. But I already know which one you're talking about.
Yep.
The napalm.
Yep. And then, you got Harrison Ford. You got Dennis Hopper. You got Lawrence Fishburne, young
Lawrence Fishburne, man. I think he was 14.
clean,
I think he lied and said he was 18 and was 14 when he did
Yeah,
this.
because at first I didn't even recognize him. I didn't even know it was him.
He was so he's
so
baby.
tiny, you
Yeah,
know?
a little skinny guy. Yeah.
So some big names
Yes.
in this cast, and
Also, let's not forget, if I can throw in my 2 cents,
yeah,
written by the screenplay and the adaptation for film written by John Milius.
yeah,
In my opinion, probably the greatest monologue writer in film history.
yeah. So we'll start with the good, and let's start. I like the monologues a lot.
Oh my God, the monologues! Yeah, you give me your first good.
I think they just added a layer to the film of some of them were very tense, some of them were very heartbreaking, some of them were intense and made you thank the higher powers you never had to deal with war, or being. I'm not unfortunately, but I never served, and I'm
Right.
thankful
That's
for everybody
fortunate, yes.
in
Very,
this
very
country
fortunate.
that has served because the freedoms are there because of that. But I'm fortunate enough to where I didn't have to, and I have family members who are in this war,
Yep.
and just I know that they have their horror stories, and this movie is the horror story.
Yeah, I the way that I would honestly best describe this movie, I would probably say, would be a Vietnam era war film mixed with a bit of a drug induced fever dream.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of psychedelic stuff in there. Doesn't push it too far though, in my opinion. I don't think
Yeah.
it loses the viewer.
no, no.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think this is one of, if not the best Vietnam era war films of all time.
But those Martin Sheen monologues, I mean, every single one makes you feel a different type of way.
Dude, I mean that and the Brando stuff.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
when Brando's in the shadows and he's putting the water on his head and the way he's shot is just really elusive.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you can't get a gauge of where he is or the size of him or it's very strange but very well done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't even realize that it's Brando for the first 5 minutes. This guy's talking.
Mm-hmm. And then just the meandering of
I mean, it's him because obviously you heard the voicemail and that's Brando's voice, and so he's Kurt's. But not obviously if you see the cast list before going
right,
into it,
right. He's on the original poster too.
But the way he's shot, you're is this Kurtz that we're listening to right now? And I agree, it's very ominous the way they shoot him, and the whole movie is shot very well.
Oh,
The
incredible.
cinematography is gorgeous.
Incredible.
The uses of a dominantly orange color palette.
Yep.
I love it.
one of my favorite things, and even sometimes I'm like, well, I'm not sure if this even makes sense, but there's huge color smoke blooms that are like fluorescent.
Yeah.
You know,
you get a green one, you get a purple one. The purple one is when Lance is setting it off on the boat. And that ends up getting them shot up.
Oh my God, that's a nightmare of a scene.
Yeah.
That's that
beautiful scene until
excellent. I mean, that and the napalm scenes are some of the most incredible visual. I don't think anything even today has rivaled that as far as like spectacle on screen.
When I was watching this, I was like, "This is the '70s." Mm-hmm. Was blowing my mind.
Think about this, Will. When they were approaching the beach with when Martin Sheen was linking up with his guys that were going to take him upstream, there was not one scene that was filmed without a helicopter moving in the background.
Yeah.
Coppola did that on purpose.
That's crazy. But now that I'm thinking about it, there was a helicopter just about in every shot of this movie.
Almost every. And it's like, holy shit, dude. There's no CGI back then.
Yeah.
Like, we have to orchestrate this so that he's going to circle around. Okay, now we got to set up. And everything has to work right. Like, this is a major undertaking.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But it's shot gorgeously. It looks beautiful. And then Martin Sheen, I mean, in my lifetime, the movies that he's been in has been when he's older. He's in, this more supporting role. Getting to watch
a little softer now.
Yeah. Getting to watch him in this lead role where you can really see the Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen in him. Like when you're talking about his sons.
Isn't it nice to see Martin Sheen with chops though?
Yeah.
Like I mean, can we have spoilers?
Yeah, this is alert.
Spoiler, if you haven't seen the movie and you care to, this is a spoiler. The opening scenes where he breaks the mirror in the hotel and he rubs the blood all over himself naked and he's weeping uncontrollably. I actually read that he was trying to go cold turkey and was having some withdrawals during that scene.
That's cool.
And he did that to sort of purge some stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see Sheen with chops.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. And then, like you obviously follow him and his crew on the boat the whole movie, and it's a fun crew. The characters in this movie are awesome.
They're
all easy to like and root for, and
very, very when
you lose one, when you lose one, you feel like you lost a friend. It
hurts.
And obviously the scene I told you when you first came over, the scene that really hit me was Fishburne's clean. They just get mail from their family, and he's literally starting to play a recording, and that's when Lance
from his mother
with the smoke, and they start getting shot up, and he gets hit in the chest, and as he's already dead, the recording's still playing in the background, and she's saying, like, now come home with no bullets in you.
Yep, she says, I want you to know I love you, and all this stuff, and he Chief is cradling him.
Chief and Chef, Chef was like, don't die clean, after they were just bickering too. That's how you know, like, it was just brothers.
It hurt. That makes it hurt even worse. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to me, Chief, that's a tough. I've seen that movie dozens of times, and I can't tell you how I feel about that character.
Chief?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a good man. He still tried to kill Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Remember when he had the arrow through him and he grabbed Sheen by the back of the head and tried to pull him into it? I'm still not 100% why he would do that. We're all on the same side here, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if... I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that character is still a little bit of a puzzle for me.
The Chef kill was completely out of left field.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the whole Brando lead up of the chin up, eye contact, don't blink.
Yeah.
Painted in his military, and just drops the head right on his lap.
Yeah.
Dude, that movie's incredible.
He was ordered to do the napalm strike, and that wasn't happening.
Nope. Nope. And Kurtz, say what you want. Kurtz, while mentally exhausted from war, I don't think Kurtz is an idiot.
No.
I think he's very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
And still has all that training, still knows all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And then one of my favorite shots from the movie, and it's probably most people's favorite shot from the movie, it's probably the best shot in the movie, is when he's coming out of the water slow.
Oh, yeah.
Martin Sheen.
Do you know that was shot in reverse?
Was it?
Yeah.
So he was actually going down.
He was going in, and that's why when he comes up, there's sort of this weird, sort of dreamy quality to his eyes opening.
Oh.
And him but it works, dude.
Yeah.
The Doors soundtrack, the rain, the thunderstorm, like, I think he says it, but he said even the jungle wanted him dead.
Yeah.
And it's just so badass. And I remember he's looking up the mountain and he's got that machete and
yeah,
just the breathe, like, oh.
And then that scene, I mean, it's intense. Obviously, knowing that the buffalo is a marine animal, that
I could have done without that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I'm an animal lover. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm an animal lover. You don't need to kill real animals.
That's how I am with Cannibal Holocaust. Let's just watch the animal cruelty-free one.
But it is the 70s. I get it.
Yeah.
From my understanding, those animals were going to be used for slaughter anyways.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it right by any means, but
it adds, I'll tell you what, it adds an intensity to the scene, that's for sure.
What makes you think what that cleaver's doing to Brando when he's hitting him?
Yeah.
And it's like that's why they edited like that, so you could see the parallel to the damage of what's happening to this cattle.
The water buffalo.
Yeah, I mean that thing is giant.
Yeah.
And Sheen is just going to town on Marlon Brando, and it's like, dude, he's just fucking him up.
Yeah.
Excuse my French.
You're good. You mentioned the Doors soundtrack to that scene. The soundtrack and score in general is fantastic.
In my opinion, one of the best in film history.
Oh, it's up there.
Do you know that this is the very first film ever to be recorded with multi-track audio?
Really?
So before this, everything was 2.0, meaning front, left, and right.
Yeah.
This was the very first one to be recorded with the intention of dimensional audio. And this was in 1979.
That's sweet. Didn't, I might be wrong on this, but I thought I saw that, wasn't Coppola's dad on the score?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And even the Wagner stuff, like,
yeah,
it scares the shit out of him. Like, it worked.
Yeah.
The dun, 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 like, it's kind of hokey, but this works.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all of the commercial stuff worked really well, and then the score, too. Like, we got a good mix, too. We got some of this, like, upbeat stuff, and then we got some, like, dark horror feel.
I really like, I'm sure you remember, it's probably, you said, probably one of your favorite scenes. One of my favorite scenes is when we see a shot looking at the crew of the boat. Mm-hmm. We are not sure what they're approaching, and they're sort of stone-faced, and we can tell that they're not easy, and the camera pans, and there are canoes filled. There's probably between 75 and 100 people out there, all painted white.
Yeah.
They're not being aggressive yet.
Yeah.
But they are showing force.
And that's when he was like, Lance, put your gun away.
He said, Lance, get away from that weapon.
Yeah.
Because we
don't want war.
And the soundtrack that just, it was almost Carpenter-esque.
Yeah, it was.
It
was very like
synthy.
Yeah.
Very good, but it just, my God, did that scene build the tension, and that soundtrack just added to it.
Yeah. The other scene I love is, we don't get a lot of Duvall as Kilgore in this movie, but when he's on the screen, it's awesome. And the helicopter attack, like, invasion scene, that whole scene is badass.
Dude, Robert Duvall in this is the man. He, to quote the movie, he is definitely one of those guys where it's like, you see him. We've all met guys like this where it's like, this guy can fall into a pile of shit and come out smelling like a rose.
Yeah.
He's going to make it through the war. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to make it. He's going to be fine.
He's Forrest Gump.
Yeah. He's that guy. Like, he's that guy. Like, he's out there topless when in the middle of a firefight and guys are out there fucking surfing.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
This guy is awesome.
Yeah, they're like getting there's explosions happening behind him. He's like, dude, you can split one, go right.
Yeah, he says, "Look at the pipe, Lance. Look at this." He's like screaming at him, and he's just like, got his head down, and this guy's just standing up with his cavalry hat on, like he's a lunatic. Yeah, but he's gonna be fine.
He's like, you don't want to wait till 6. Watch this. In order to napalm.
Yep, and then he says, "Give him everything you got." That tree line to my northeast, and that scene, they blew the shit out of that place. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's when you get the iconic line.
Yep.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What's it smell like, Will?
Victory.
Yeah. Nothing else in the world smells like that, Will.
Nope, nothing. But that's such a good scene. And Robert Duvall, he's another, Godfather. He was great. I love him.
Top level. I mean, Robert Duvall's a top level guy.
Yeah, I love him in the Godfather trilogy. The first 2 movies. He's not in the third one. But
got screwed out of that.
Third Godfather's for another day. I'm not a big fan of that movie, but he's awesome in this one
it's tough
too.
To be.
And more of a supporting role, obviously, like very minor role, but
I think he has 11 minutes on camera.
He makes that 11 minutes worthwhile. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah. He's very memorable.
Yeah.
Yep. And then then there's sometimes when you're like, wait a minute, is he a decent human being? Because he's sort of doing things where you're like, oh, so he's not an asshole. Well, I'm not sure about this guy, which is just more layers.
Yeah. Another fun fact that I learned watching this. They let Harrison Ford pick his character's name, and he's G. Lucas because he named himself after George Lucas.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I knew that he was Lucas, but I did not know that.
Yeah, his name. What's his title? He's not a colonel. Is he a colonel?
He might be like a major.
Whatever he is, he's Colonel G. Lucas.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
He named himself after George Lucas.
How awesome was that scene when those guys had that meeting with Martin Sheen, letting him know, listen, this is what happened. We trained this guy up. He has essentially become too dangerous to be allowed to be kept alive, and we need you to go get him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a cool way to set this movie up, too. It is.
It really is, man.
Just the military meeting he's with Robert Duvall very soon after that, and then the boat.
You're following
and
then we're off, man.
Yeah. Fun adventure. We'll stop at the island to get gas, and they see the Playmate show. That was, a cool little, filler scene. Seeing the military guys just get the hooting and the hollering because they haven't seen a lady in a long time.
Man, they were ravenous.
It's cool too because that was an actual event that happened.
Yeah.
And they just aligned it with the filming of the movie, so that was cool too.
Yeah, they used to do Playmates all the time over there, and Bob Hope used to do stuff for them all the time for the soldiers. Can we talk about Dennis Hopper as well?
Yeah, what do you got?
As far as I know, this is the only actor to ever admit using substances on set.
Okay.
And I think you can tell.
Yeah.
This guy was off his rocker. When they got there, and he says, run the sirens. Yeah. You're going to scare everybody off. And then when he comes up, and I'm a little man, he's a great man, and this is this dude is out of his mind.
Wired.
What a fucking actor.
Yeah.
I mean, what an actor. When he's talking to Martin Sheen when he's up in that cage, and he says, listen, this didn't have to happen, man. Did you know that if is the middle letter of life? And it's like, what? This guy is fucked up. This guy's a lunatic.
Yeah. And then he gets something thrown at him by Marlon Brando. He's like,
you rat.
Yeah, before he gets too pissed, he leaves. But yeah, you could tell he was wired.
Oh my God, I don't know what he was on, but it was some shit.
It was something.
Yeah, caffeine.
But just overall, most of this movie, if not all of it, falls in this good category.
I don't have anything bad.
I don't have anything in the bad. I do have one thing in the meh, but it's just.
I have 2 in the meh. Okay. I'm ultra picky.
Okay. We can hop to the meh then. Let's hop to the meh. And do you have anything else for the good?
I mean, other than me just continually fawning over this movie, in my opinion, this literally is the perfect movie.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything that you can really take away from it when you watch it.
Yeah.
You can't say, that was made back then and it doesn't hold up.
No,
like you said, you watch it, you're like, holy shit.
This is the 70s?
This is this is the real deal, man. This is a wonderful experience.
For sure. So off to the meh then. My big meh is probably the pacing. There are times where it starts to get a little slow, and you're just like, all right, when do we get the Kurtz? When do we get the Kurtz? And that's why I'm glad I watched the theatrical cut, because you said it would have been even worse if I watched the Redux. For this review, I was like, I'm going to go to the basics. I looked at the reviews of the Redux. I looked at the reviews of the original, and a lot of people said the same thing. It kind of breaks the movie up. It slows it down. So go with the original. And I was like, okay, so that's what I'm going to do for this watch. My first watch, too. I know. It's crazy.
Did it hold up to what you were told?
Yeah. I think it was a fantastic movie, a phenomenal movie. And but at times it was a little slow, and I couldn't imagine a 3 hour and 18 version of it.
The Redux...
There were times where I was like, "Come on," you know.
I'm with you, and I love this movie. Mm-hmm. But to me, the Redux. There's 3 different cuts of this movie. There's the theatrical, then the Redux that came out, I believe, in 1999 for the 20th anniversary, and then the final cut that came out about 2 years ago. Okay. The final cut is somewhere between Redux and theatrical. In my opinion, I still sort of prefer theatrical just for those reasons. I do think that Redux, it does expand on some things, but it takes away from the momentum of that movie. Like we got to get to Kurtz. We got to get to Kurtz. Everything is plowing forward. We have to get there. Yeah, and the Redux scenes that they sort of throw, it doesn't feel thrown in, but it does take away from that momentum for sure.
For sure. What else did you have in the map?
There's only one scene. I am a military nerd, so I appreciate when filmmakers try to be as realistic as possible. It happens in this movie, and it happens in Platoon. Interesting parallel, because they're both Sheens. Mm-hmm. Both films technically written by Vietnam War veterans.
And both highly regarded.
Mm-hmm. But that is the scene in which the tracers are coming out of the tree line while they're going upriver. I understand what we were trying to do. We were trying to really make a hostile, tracer-esque effect. Yeah. But I can tell that they're almost like Roman candles. Mm. They just, at the time, didn't have the practical effect to give you a fast enough projectile towards screen to make it realistic. Yeah. And it just... To me, it still has a great look to it. Yeah. And it looks sort of cool, but it doesn't look real. It doesn't look realistic.
Yeah, when I was watching that scene, I was like, those don't look like they'd kill you.
No. Yeah, it looked like they're being lobbed at it. It's a Roman candle. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
But still, obviously powerful scene.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're limited by the budget and the time. I mean...
Yeah, this movie is 45 years old now, mm-hmm. So...
And at that time, it only, I think it was a $38 million budget, I think I'm sure.
So, yeah, that's nothing today.
By today's standards, you can't even make a rom-com for $38 million.
No. I guess $38 million back then, though, was also probably over $100 million a day. But,
probably.
But, you don't get movies like this anymore, though. This movie would be all special effects. There would be nothing practical about it.
Even, the beheading... there's no beheading scenes, really. But just that, heads that were laying around, we wouldn't see that now. Yeah. I feel like they would really water this down. They would white glove this big time, and they would probably just skim over some facts about what he's doing out there and how hostile things are. And this movie does not hold punches. No. Not at all.
Not at all. We both agree, nothing in the bad.
I have nothing in the bad.
So we'll just hop to our final thoughts and ratings then. What do you want to leave off with Apocalypse Now? And what do you give it out of 10?
For me, it's a 10. Perfect movie. I do not give out 10s easily. But I think that this movie warrants not only watching, but a rewatch. Yeah. I think you can watch it for the directing, then go back and watch it for the acting, and then go back and watch it just as a fan. Mm-hmm. It's the perfect movie.
Yeah, watch it for the music.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie, but it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna land on probably a solid 9. The pacing's the biggest defactor from taking it down from a 10 or anything higher, but a 9 out of 10 is still nothing though.
What the hell? 9 out of 10.
At, it was a great movie. One I do want to revisit. I'll give it a little time just because it is 2.5 plus, but it's one I want to revisit. see if I can catch some more things, and it's one of those movies that I'll probably revisit a few times, just every now and then.
I mean, it's one of those too where you can almost hop in, and now that you've seen it, you can almost hop in at any point.
Yeah.
And know where you're at. And be like, oh, I know where we're, okay, yep.
Yeah. It's just, one of those good... See, war movies are funny to me because it's like that genre of movie that, like, whenever somebody recommends it, I'm like, I'm not feeling a war movie. But every time I finish a war movie, I'm like, man, that was good. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not very many bad war movies out there, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And this was just, this was one of the better ones.
Yeah. This is a masterclass, in my opinion.
Yeah. Martin Sheen was so good.
Yeah, this to me felt like Papa's home. It's time to make an adult movie.
Yeah. Now, a question for you, since you give this a 10 out of 10. Is this your favorite Coppola movie?
I would probably say yes.
Okay.
I probably would.
I'd probably
Godfather being second.
I'd probably put it right behind the first Godfather. And then I'd put it right ahead of Godfather 2 and The Outsiders. I love The Outsiders a lot.
See, The Outsiders doesn't... It's okay.
It's definitely a different movie than what we're used to from Coppola.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly take Bram Stoker's then.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that one, honestly, more than the Outsiders.
Okay. That'll do it for Apocalypse Now. Trebo, thank you, man, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, please check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go check out Apocalypse Now for its 45th anniversary, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.